I'd like to call this meeting in the Board of Zoning Appeals to order. If you would, please join in the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. If you have a cell phone, I request that you either silence it or turn it off. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item of business is the approval of minutes of the October 3rd, 2023 meeting.
I move to approve the meeting minutes from October 3rd.
Have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes approved. Okay,
First case tonight is case P24V23, petition of DJ Butcher requesting variance to section 3.31 permitted uses for multifamily dwelling, lower floors in a downtown commercial zone. This is at 300 North Union Street.
I need a motion and a second.
I move that we approve case number P24-V-23 and adopt the findings of the petitioner of those of the board and make those findings part of the record.
Second. A motion and a second. Anybody had any ex parte communications on this case? Thank you.
You know, Mr. President, before we get, I should have made an announcement that, so everyone knows this is a 5-member board. We do have one member that is not here tonight. Just wanted to let everyone know that if you would prefer to have your case heard before the full board, you can certainly ask for a continuance till next month's meeting. It does take 3 votes to either pass or deny a case, so I just wanted to make sure everyone in the audience was aware of that. So now we can move forward. Sorry.
That's all right, thank you. Petitioner for case P-24-V-23. You would state your name and address and
DJ Butcher, 106 North Washington Street, Kokomo, Indiana, 46901. I'll read you the petitioner's findings of fact. The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. This is an existing building we are updating into a multifamily-like dormitory, which will include living on the first floor, gym, restaurant, and lots of separate living areas. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. This property will be a multifamily dormitory-style living space with its own parking lot that will fit in with the other multifamily units downtown. The strict application of this terms of the zoning ordinance will result in a practical difficulty. This situation shall not be self-imposed nor be based on a perceived reduction or restriction of economic gain. This property will be a multifamily facility that will help fit the desired need and increase demand for downtown living. Sorry, that was a little rough. Any questions?
How many residents are on the bottom floor?
There are 24 bedrooms, 24 bathrooms on the first floor.
Is there more residential on the other floors, or?
The second floor of that building would be 12 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms. And then there's 2 properties behind it that's a part of this. That'd be 210 East Mulberry, 208 East Mulberry. And those would be, all right, let me get to it. A total of 6 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms. At 208 East Mulberry and 210 would be 10 bedrooms and 11 bathrooms total.
Thank you.
findings for case B 24-23. The approval will not be endorsed to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Allowing multifamily residential on the lower floors of existing buildings through a remodel will not cause injury to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. Allowing more residential on lower floors will help create more opportunities for accessible housing in the downtown area. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Allowing further multifamily residential housing in this mixed-use area will not negatively impact the surrounding properties or their uses. This development has its own parking area, although it is not a requirement for the zone in order to help curb any impact on parking. Granting this use variance will allow several currently vacant buildings to find new life and use as modern dormitory-style apartment buildings. The strict application of the terms of this zoning ordinance will result in a practical difficulty. This situation shall not be self-imposed nor be based on a perceived reduction of or restriction of economic gain. If the use variance is not granted, petitioner will only have the option for single family on the lower floors of the building with a special exception. For a building this size, single family on the lower floors is not practical, and the petitioner would be unable to utilize the buildings fully. Additionally, the admission of multifamily dwelling lower floors within the special exception use of the ordinance is a result of an oversight that the staff plans to correct when they next update the ordinance.
Thank you. Anybody from the audience have any questions, comments? Hearing no further comments, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next case, Mr. President, is case P 25-B23, petition of All Seasons requesting a variance of 15 feet to section 3.12 minimum rear yard setback in an R3 zone. This is at 205 East Westmoreland Drive.
Need a motion and a second.
I move that we approve case number 25-B-23 and adopt the findings of the petitioner as those of the board and make those findings part of the record.
Second. Motion and a second. Has there been any ex parte communications on this case?
No.
Petitioners here? Would you state your name and address and
Lucas Reese, 205 East Westmoreland Drive. The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, general welfare of the community. The garage addition will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, general welfare of the community. If the variance is denied, a standalone garage will be built on the other side of the property, which could create site visibility danger east-west road on the side of the lot. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including a variance, will not be affected by substantial adverse manner. Adding to the existing garage will increase the value of the home, neighborhood, and will look more aesthetically pleasing. To add to the existing garage and keep a driveway where it currently is, rather than building a standalone garage and having a driveway on the other side of the property. The strict application of the terms of zoning ordinance will result in particular difficulty. This situation shall not self-impose nor be based on perceived reduction and restriction in economic gain. If we comply with regulations within the zoning ordinance, it would result in having garage built on the other end of the home where the bedrooms are located, and there's no good entrance into the home from the garage. Building a standalone garage will cause site visibility and dangers and value the neighborhood, not look aesthetically pleasing within the neighborhood.
thank you.
You're gonna put this garage next to the existing garage?
Yes,
Roof line gonna match up with what's presently there?
yes.
Thank you.
Staff findings for case P 25V23, approval not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Proposed 12 by 25 attached garage addition will not create any safety hazards and will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. The requested variance for a reduced rear yard setback will not block vision or encroach on any recorded easements. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Granting the requested variance for a 5-foot rear yard setback will not negatively impact the neighboring property owners or the use of their properties. The garage will not extend further back than the existing house and will be professionally built. The strict application of the terms of this zoning ordinance will result in a practical difficulty. This situation shall not be self-imposed, nor be based on a perceived reduction of or restriction of economic gain. The petitioners face a practical difficulty in the fact that their lot is oddly shaped and has at least 2 road frontages. The additional road frontage vastly reduces the area where the petitioners may build a new garage and driveway, so it makes sense to simply add on the existing garage and request no new driveways. If the variance is not granted, the petitioner will be unable to fully utilize their property as they wish and may have to seek alternative plans that include greater and less desirable variances.
Have anybody from the audience that has any questions, comments? Anybody from the board? Now, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried.
Thanks, sir. The next case, Mr. President, is case P 27V23 at the petition of Bharat Patel, Kokomo 2 Lodging Associates LLC, requesting the variance of 7 parking spaces to section 6.4A L a minimum number of parking spaces, and a variance of 5.5 feet to section 3.36, maximum structural height in the C2 zone. This is at 5128 Cartwright Drive.
Good evening.
Can you state your name and address, please?
Bharat Patel, 3938 South Emerson Avenue, Indianapolis, 46241.
Thank you.
The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The total building height of 50 feet 2.5 inches is 5 feet 2.5 inches over the maximum allowable building height, 45 feet for the commercial C2 district. The total number of available parking space is 138, which is 7 space less than 145 space required for the commercial C2 district. This variance, if approved, will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in the substantially adverse manner. The adjacent zoning to this project site have similar zoning of C1 and C2 with similar, if not the same use, hotel with a building height that exceeds the minimum building height of 45. This variance will not affect the use and value of the area adjacent to the height of 45 feet. A reduction in the total number of available parking space on a lot 20 will not affect the use and value of the area adjacent to the property in substantially adverse manner. The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulty. This situation shall not be self-imposed nor be based on a perceived reduction of the restriction of economic gain. Building height. The practical difficulty comes in a capacity to keep the building height under the zoning ordinance requirement of 45 feet while maintaining the minimum requirement needed to follow the standards set forth by Hilton Hotel and Resorts for the project H3 Hotel design. In short, the minimum requirement is to provide a 10-foot ceiling height in the lobby area in conjunction with the parapet wall that will properly screen or any mechanical equipment placed on the top of the proposed structure. In further detail, 50 feet 2 1/4 inch building height will only encompass 181 feet or 26.7% of the total building face of 677 feet. The majority of the remaining portion of the building will be at the elevation of 46 feet and 2 1/4 inch as shown on a building elevation sheet A 2.1 dated 11/02/23. parking spaces. The practical difficulty comes in a capacity to provide the required amount of parking space while utilizing the remaining space available to provide the proper drainage requirements set forth in a City of Kokomo Stormwater Management Technical Standard manual and provide proper accessibility for the public while maximizing the allowable space available on a project site. Understand that this is an extended stay hotel with minimum staff, particularly 3 to 4 employees during the largest shift and typically 1 employee during abating 3 maximum. Furthermore, the daily check-in and checkouts are nominal, being an extended stay hotel facility, and average daily traffic is based primarily in early and late hours of the day. Hence, demand for parking is essentially based on the evening hours.
I do need a motion and a second for this case.
I move that we approve case number P27-B-23 and adopt the findings of the petitioner as those of the board and make those findings part of the record.
Second. Thank you. Any board members have any questions for the petitioner at this time? No? Mr. Sheehan.
Staff findings for case P 27B23, approval not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The requested variances for building height and reduced parking will not create any safety hazards, block vision, or encroach on any recorded property lines or easements. Granting them will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community. The use of value area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. There are existing similar developments in the surrounding area, and this 4-story hotel development will fit in amongst these. The requested variance for additional building height and small reduction in parking will not impact the surrounding properties or their uses. Granting the variance will help infill a currently vacant and unused commercial lot with a new and useful modern hotel. The strict application of the terms of this zoning ordinance will result in a practical difficulty. This situation shall not be self-imposed, nor be based on a perceived reduction of or restriction of economic gain. The petitioner faces the practical difficulty in their wish to screen their mechanicals on their roof and beautify the building without losing their 4th floor or having unusual low ceilings. If the variances are not granted, the petitioner will have to order new plans to be created at his expense and may be unable to feasibly develop a lot without the current configuration.
Does this hotel face which direction?
The hotel face north-south direction, perpendicular to the road, north-south direction.
North.
The home two that's I'm building right now is also same north-south direction.
Craig, I got a question I was gonna ask council on here. Is this the case that the planning commission took a contingent vote on? And the reason I'm asking that is that I think them sending this board a contingent vote, we could, let's just say hypothetically, he wanted 50 parking place variance, he only wants 7. We didn't really, we kind of understand the height one, but we wouldn't like the parking one, perhaps wanted to have some discussion. If that would be the case, and since the planning commission vote was contingent on these findings, would that affect the petitioner's right to continue if we had a no vote on just the parking? I hope that made sense, because it's been on my mind for 2 weeks.
That is an attorney question. My thought is no, it would not
Okay.
affect that. We've had this issue in the past, and I don't think it's ever affected what could potentially happen for
Okay,
a continuance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if it's cool. I was thinking it was put, number one, this board in position and the petitioner in a position, if we would happen to vote no on something, that would, the time frame would get off, the table would have to be reset, and I don't think that's fair to the petitioner. That's why I asked the
I
question.
don't disagree with that.
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments, questions from the audience? If not, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
the next case is case P 28V23, petition of, and Mr. Lee has graciously allowed me to call him Mr. Lee because I am not going to attempt to say his first name because I know I will butcher it completely. So petition of Mr. Lee requesting a variance of 2 feet to section 6.17B, fence height in the side yard, variance of 3 point to section 6.17BC, fence height in the front yard, and variance to section 6.1CF to incorporate a barbed wire on a fence in an HI zone. This is at 1977 East Sparks Road, and this is Project Hydrate, which is a part of the entire complex of Project Fusion.
Yeah. Petitioner, would state your name and your address, please.
My name is Jason Kang. My address is 327 South Union Street, Kokomo, Indiana 46901. The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Approval for variance in fence height and barbed wiring will not threaten public health, safety, morals, or the general welfare of the community. On the contrary, it is crucial for safeguarding the community. In an industrial chemical plant environment, the presence of untrained individuals on site poses a threat not only to those individuals but also to the broader community. Our facility adheres to rigorous procedures for managing and disposing of hazardous waste. Therefore, we seek to eliminate external factors that could compromise these safety measures, bolstering public health and safety. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The approved increase in fence height and barbed wiring will not adversely impact the surrounding areas. Vehicles will continue to have unimpeded access to travel on the adjacent Toby Pike Road, and farmland will retain their freedom to conduct their business as usual. Moreover, the fencing will be chain-linked, allowing interested parties to peer into the facility and ensure visibility into the site. The strict application of the terms in this zoning ordinance will result in a practical difficulty. This situation shall not be self-imposed, nor be based on perceived reduction of or restriction of economic gain. Adhering strictly to the terms of the fence height and barbed wiring zoning ordinance presents a practical challenge for our facility. As previously mentioned, ensuring adequate security is paramount for our operations. Failure to do so may lead to practical difficulties caused by external factors. The proposed variances will not affect economic gain or restrictions. Rather, utterly unrelated to any economic reasoning, they aim to enhance safety for Solbern and the community, emphasizing our commitment to security and the well-being of everyone involved.
I do need a motion and a second for this case.
I move that we approve case number P28-B-23 and adopt the findings of petitioner as those of the board and make those findings part of the record.
Second. Been any ex parte communications on this case? Mr. Sheila.
Staff findings for case P 28V23, approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The variance is requested for the 8-foot tall fence that includes barbed wire are being requested in order to promote public health, safety, morals, and the general welfare of the community. Part of the new facility security plan includes a taller fence with barbed wire in order to help keep unauthorized persons from harming themselves on the premises. The chain link fence will not impair vision clearance or encroach on any property lines or recorded easements. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. As the area and surrounding is mainly industrial and agricultural, this security fence will match similar fences requested by other battery plant support businesses that have begun to develop in the area. The fence will not cross property lines or impact neighbors' use of their own properties. The strict application of terms of this zoning ordinance will result in a practical difficulty. This situation shall not be self-imposed, nor be based on a perceived reduction of or restriction of economic gain. If the variances are not granted, petitioners face a practical difficulty in having an oblong-shaped lot that is bordered on all sides but one by public right-of-way. The petitioners fear that other difficulties may be caused by persons having easier access to their site with their maximum fence height along much of the property being only 5 foot tall. By requesting this 8 foot tall fence, including barbed wire, the petitioners are providing what they feel is adequate security for their site.
Thank you. Any members of the board have a question?
Greg, years ago, we had, somebody, one of the large tenants in Homeland Security got involved, and we voted it because of, they said that they had it. There's no problem here with.
No, and these, we look back on, any project that's being done out there with Fusion, these are the same variances that we've given everyone else so far that's asked for. Same size, barbed wire, we did check all that out, and there's been no
And if it
issues.
says barbed wire, that means razor wire is not.
Correct, correct.
Good.
Any members of the audience have any questions? Any other comments from the board? We do have a motion on the floor. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion's passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, Mr. President, is case P16-SE23, petition of Laura Group requesting special exception for section 3.21 for a dwelling unit, a multifamily 50 units or more, in order to build a 66-unit apartment building in an M3 zone. This is a 1400 East Hopper Street and the adjoining lots to the north and east.
I need a motion and a second on this case.
I move that we approve case number P16-SE-23 and adopt the findings of petitioner as those of the board and make those findings part of the record.
Second.
I have a motion and a second with petitioner.
My name is David Barrett. I'm attorney for Lara Cap Group 21 LLC. Our office address is 319 North Main Street. To my right here is Robert Hookerman. He's the manager of Lara Cap Group 21 LLC, in case there's any additional questions. As for our special exception findings of fact, the proposal will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The special exception sought is within those provided for in an M3 district. Applicant herein has submitted the attached exhibits A through G. That's what I've attached to our actual application. To the staff of Kokomo City Planning Commission, the staff issued a favorable recommendation, a copy of which was attached as Exhibit H. Although said approval still obviously requires the approval of the Kokomo Board of Zoning Appeals for a special exception sought herein. Said exhibits all included plans for 66 units. The Kokomo City Planning Commission at their public hearing on September 12, 2023 voted unanimously to forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council. And you see attached Exhibit I. The Kokomo Common Council on September 25, 2023 voted in favor of the rezoning request. Since we filed this, we've also had the second hearing before the Kokomo Common Council, and they again unanimously voted in favor of the ordinance, making it an M3 district. B, the requirements and development standards for the requested use as prescribed by the zoning ordinance will be met. Attached here to is Exhibit J is an email from Victoria, and I always butcher Victoria's last name. Is it
Kalazi.
Kalazi? See, I would have got it wrong again.
Kalazi?
I always want to say Kalazi. Kalazi, planner with the Kokomo Howard County Planning Commission, indicating that again, subject to board zoning appeals approval, the project is ready for filing for development plan approval. In other words, the staff has looked at this from a 66 unit from the very get-go. C, the granting exception will not subvert the general purposes served by the zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure or other property or uses in the same district and vicinity. Again, the staff report attached to Exhibit H. According to the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance, the M3 zoning district is compatible with all neighboring zones. The improvement will also result in removal of dilapidated structures currently on the property. And I guess they would add to that we've had the hearing before the Planning Commission, we've had the 2 hearings before the Kokomo Council, and only one gentleman appeared, and his only concern was, I guess, regarding where the retaining pond was going to be, but no one has ever appeared or indicated they have any objections to the project. So the only difference between what would have been at the previous hearings and this one is just the number of units that are going to be in place. D, the proposed use will be consistent with the character of the district therein, the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance and the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. Again, I cited to the previous staff report as Exhibit H. It says, according to the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan, future land use map, this area of East Hoffer and South Willow Street is located in an area proposed for both medium density residential and general commercial.
Thank you. Any of the board members have any questions, comments? Mr. Sheehan?
Staff Staff findings for case P16SE23. Proposal will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The proposed 66-unit apartment development will not cause injury to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. The development will be built new from the ground up and will be subject to all ordinance and safety requirements. The development has its own parking area and will not rely on street parking. The requirements and development standards for the requested use as prescribed by this zoning ordinance will be met. The buildings meet the minimum requirements for front and side setback requirements in this zoning district. The development plan has been received by staff and meets all zoning ordinance development standards, including required setback, parking, square footage, and landscaping. The granting of the exception will not subvert the general purposes served by this zoning ordinance and will not permanently injure other property or uses in the same district and vicinity. This investment in the area will improve the residential component of the area and raise the value of the properties that it is situated on. The development is fully contained on the subject properties and will not impact neighboring property owners or the use of their properties. The proposed use will be consistent with the character of the district therein, the spirit and intent of this zoning ordinance and the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan. The properties on which the development will be built have been set aside by the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan for medium-density residential and general commercial purposes. The area is surrounded by a mixture of uses, including residential, commercial, multifamily residential, and institutional. Because of the mixture of uses, the proposed 66-unit development will fit in with the spirit and intent of the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance and Kokomo Comprehensive Plan.
Thank you. Anybody in the audience have any questions for the petitioner? Have any questions from any of the board members? No further questions. We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we have no further cases, entertain a motion.
I move that we close this meeting. Excuse me.
Yeah.
We have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.